Dry. Confident. The very first word is the hook. His real name wasn't Ted Knight. It was Tadeusz Władysław Konopka, a Polish-American kid from Connecticut who survived World War II, spent decades in thankless background work, and eventually became the irreplaceable heart of one of the most beloved family sitcoms of the 1980s. He never got to see just how much he was missed. Too Close for Comfort, 1980 to 1987, 8 cast members. And in 2026, their stories will genuinely surprise you. Stick around for number 1. You'll understand why this show still matters. Monroe Ficus. Here's something the producers never expected to admit. Monroe Ficus was written for 1 episode. 1. Done. Goodbye. The audience absolutely refused. Then, Jim J. Bullock arrived on screen in 1980 as the hapless, lovable Monroe, a street musician who stumbled into the Rush family's world and somehow never left. His rubber-faced expressions and pinpoint comic timing turned a throwaway role into the show's beating heart. Quick trivia: Bullock had to spell his name unusually, J-M-J Bullock, no I in Jim, because the Screen Actors Guild already had a registered Jim Bullock. He wanted something unique. Unique he became. Now, 2026, Jim J. Bullock is 71 years old and still completely in his element. In January of this year, he returned to CBS daytime on The Bold and the Beautiful, playing a scene-stealing character named Joseph, the loyal assistant to a San Francisco socialite played by Morgan Fairchild. In interviews, he was warm, funny, and grateful. Every bit the Monroe energy, 40 years on. He has also carried a deeply personal health journey with remarkable grace and openness, living well for decades with a condition he disclosed publicly in 1996, crediting modern medicine and an unbreakable spirit. His journey has become an inspiration far beyond the world of entertainment. He credits one person above all others as the mentor who shaped him most. That person is waiting at number 1. Jackie Rush, like describing an old friend you've just spotted across a crowded room. If Monroe brought the chaos, Jackie Rush brought the compass. Then, Deborah Van Valkenburgh stepped onto the Too Close for Comfort set in 1980, already carrying one of the decade's most iconic film roles, Mercy in Walter Hill's 1979 cult thriller, The Warriors. It was her first television role, and she played Jackie Rush for 5 full seasons, with a grounded, intelligent warmth that anchored everything around her. Now, 2026, Deborah Van Valkenburgh is 73 years old, and by all accounts, she is radiant. In February 2026, she and her former co-star Lydia Cornell reunited in Los Angeles for a lunch that Cornell shared on social media. 2 women who still clearly adore each other, still stunning, still sharp. She continues to appear on television and remains a fixture at Warriors fan conventions and Comic-Con, events where her cult following is as devoted as ever. Seeing them again brings back so many memories. How many of you had their poster on your bedroom wall back then? Don't be shy. Confess in the comments. Muriel Rush. The kind of warmth reserved for someone who has truly earned it. Every overprotective father needs a steady hand. Muriel Rush was that hand. And the woman who played her had already conquered Broadway long before she ever set foot in San Francisco. Then, Nancy Dussault earned 2 Tony Award nominations in the 1960s for Do Re Mi and Bonjour. She had played Maria in The Sound of Music. she stood at the anchor desk of Good Morning America on its very first broadcast in 1975, alongside David Hartman. Then she became Muriel Rush, patient, funny, unshakable, and made a nation fall in love with her all over again. Now, 2026, Nancy Dussault is 89 years old. She has been married to Valentine Mayer since February 24, 1985, a partnership now in its 5th decade. She continues to teach theater at UCLA and still performs in cabaret and concert settings that remind audiences exactly why that soprano voice always stopped a room cold. 89, still performing, still teaching, still Muriel. Sara Rush. Sara Rush was the blonde, beaming, gloriously scatterbrained heart of that duplex. And the woman behind her has lived a life that is genuinely astonishing. Then, born Lydia Cornell in El Paso, Texas, on July 23, 1953, she landed the role of Sara Rush in 1980 and spent 5 seasons lighting up ABC. Tuesday nights in front of audiences that peaked at millions of viewers each week. Here is something extraordinary. Lydia Cornell's great-great-grandmother was Harriet Beecher Stowe, the author of Uncle Tom's Cabin, as Cornell herself has shared. Conscience, it seems, runs deep in that family. Now, 2026. Lydia Cornell is 72 years old and showing no signs of slowing down. She has appeared on HBO's Curb Your Enthusiasm. She lectures at Loyola Marymount University's School of Film and Television. She has spoken with remarkable openness about her personal journey through recovery. Sober since 1994, and a genuine advocate for others walking the same path. And she is currently in active development on a reboot of Too Close for Comfort, co-writing the pilot script herself, working with the show's original producers. Sara Rush isn't finished yet. Arthur Wainwright. Henry Rush's long-suffering boss, Arthur Wainwright, was played by a man whose life stretched from wartime London to the American folk revival to the voice booths of Disney. Then, Hamilton Camp was born Robin S. Camp in London, England on October 30th, 1934. Evacuated to the United States as a child during World War II. In the early 1960s, he became a celebrated folk singer alongside Bob Gibson, performing at the Newport Folk Festival and writing the song Pride of Man, later recorded by Gordon Lightfoot and Quicksilver Messenger Service. He also became Disney's voice of Merlin and the voice of Harmony Smurf and Greedy Smurf on the Smurfs. Hamilton Camp passed from this world on October 2nd, 2005, at the age of 70, following a sudden cardiac event at his home in the Hancock Park neighborhood of Los Angeles. He is survived by 6 children and 13 grandchildren. Hope Stinson. Warm, celebratory. Someone who gave everything to her craft. When Too Close for Comfort reinvented itself for its final season, it brought in a new sparring partner for Henry Rush and chose one of the great comic legends of American television to fill the role. Then, Pat Carroll was born May 5, 1927 in Shreveport, Louisiana. She won her first Emmy Award in 1957 for Caesar's Hour. She earned a Tony nomination, a Drama Desk Award, and a Grammy for Best Spoken Word. She joined the show in 1986 as Hope Stinson, sharp, funny, formidable, the newspaper owner who kept Henry Rush perpetually off balance. The chemistry was instant. She is, of course, immortal as the voice of Ursula in Disney's The Little Mermaid, a role she first performed in 1989 and called one of the great joys of her career. Pat Carroll left us on July 30th, 2022, at the age of 95, passing peacefully at her home on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. She is survived by daughters Carrie and Tara Karzian and granddaughter Evan. 95 years. Not nearly enough. Iris Martin. Before we reach number 1, we pause for the woman who made Henry Rush's home life magnificently complicated. Audrey Meadows was already television royalty when she joined Too Close for Comfort in Season 3 as Iris Martin, the outspoken, opinionated mother-in-law with an opinion on absolutely everything. The world knew her as Alice Cramden on The Honeymooners in the 1950s, and the story of how she landed that role belongs in the history books. Jackie Gleason rejected her at first audition for being too young and too pretty to play a Brooklyn housewife. So Meadows hired a photographer, dressed herself in a frumpy house dress with her hair in rollers and no makeup, and submitted those photos anonymously. Gleason declared he had finally found his Alice. When he realized it was the same woman he had turned down, he hired her on the spot. Off-screen, she was a boardroom pioneer, the first woman to serve as director of the First National Bank of Denver, holding that post for 11 years. Audrey Meadows passed from this world on February 3, 1996, at the age of 73, following a period of illness she faced with characteristic privacy and grace. Her second husband, Continental Airlines President Robert F. Six, had passed in 1986. She rests beside him at Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City, California. Henry Rush. This is the moment the whole video has been building toward. And here we are, number 1. The man who gave this show its soul. The man whose name it eventually carried. The man that Jim J. Bullock, to this day, calls his closest friend and favorite mentor in the entire profession. Ted Knight. Born Tadeusz Władysław Konopka on December 7, 1923, in Terryville, Connecticut, the son of Polish-American immigrants. He left high school to serve in the United States Army during World War II, earning 5 campaign stars in the European Theater of Operations. Then he came home and decided he wanted to make people laugh. It took decades of patient work, puppetry, ventriloquism, local children's television in Providence, Rhode Island, years of small roles, character parts, the long and unglamorous work of a craftsman who simply refused to quit. Then came Ted Baxter on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, the pompous, preening, magnificently self-unaware WJM news anchor, a role that earned Knight the Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in Comedy in both 1973 and 1976. Most actors would have coasted on that forever. Ted Knight chose differently. In 1980, he took the role of Henry Rush, a man completely unlike Ted Baxter. Warm, loving, overprotective in the most human, relatable way. A father who worried too much because he cared too much. And in doing so, he showed the full range of everything he had spent a lifetime building. There is a detail about this show that says something beautiful about who Ted Knight was as a man. Henry Rush wore a different college sweatshirt in nearly every episode. Fans began mailing in shirts from their own universities. By the end of the run, 107 schools had made an appearance on screen, from Oregon State to Northwestern. It wasn't a gimmick. It was a handshake, A way of saying, I see you. You belong in this story too. In January 1985, he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame at 6673 Hollywood Boulevard. In 1985, the health challenge that had first found him in the late 1970s returned with greater force. His medical team advised him to step back from filming. He kept going as long as he possibly could. He kept showing up for his cast, his crew, and his audience, right up until he couldn't anymore. Ted Knight passed from this world on August 26, 1986, at the age of 62. His wife of 38 years, Dorothy, and their 3 children, Ted Jr., Elise, and Eric, were with him. He rests at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. His grave marker does not read Ted Knight. It reads Theodore C. Konopka, and beneath that, 2 words: Bye, Guy. A boy from Connecticut who survived a world war. A craftsman who waited decades for his moment. A man who wore strangers' college sweatshirts just to make them feel part of something. A father on screen, and by every account, a genuine one off it. He never really left that San Francisco duplex. And he never will. Before we go, we honor those from this family who are no longer with us. Hamilton Camp, the voice of Arthur Wainwright, folk music poet and the soul behind Harmony Smurf, left us on October 2nd, 2005, at the age of 70. Audrey Meadows, the irreplaceable Iris Martin, and the beloved Alice Cramden of the Honeymooners, left us on February 3rd, 1996, at the age of 73. Pat Carroll, the formidable Hope Stinson, and the immortal voice of Ursula, left us on July 30th, 2022, at the age of 95. And Ted Knight, Henry Rush, Ted Baxter, Theodore C. Konopka, left us on August 26, 1986, at the age of 62. They made us laugh. They made Tuesday night feel like home. They are not forgotten. Time moves so incredibly fast, but these beautiful memories stay with us forever. Which of these stories surprised you most today? And if you could go back, just one Tuesday evening in the 80s, in your old living room with the people you loved, what would you give to be there again? Share your beautiful stories in the comments below. I read every single one of them. Thank you for watching.